Congratulations. You will meet the Grandmaster in 5 seconds. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. You are now meeting the Grandmaster.
Some of the things we were just saying earlier about Marvel wanting to move forward, exceeding expectations, being the underdog, being this, being that, and learning from the mistakes that they've made in the past. And then you get hit with news like this. Now, for me, this is coming from my time to shine. Hello, so you can take this with a grain of salt as well. This could not be true or anything like that. Now, I do strongly believe, obviously, this part here. Ryan Coogler has also officially signed on for Black Panther 3. Well, that makes all of the sense in the fucking world. Of course, he's got to somewhat end his trilogy of the morbid story that he started to tell in the second episode. So he's got to wrap that up.
Taika was back. Fucking yeah. Every trilogy director fucking comes back.
Yeah, so he's got to wrap that morbid story up. So that makes all the sense to me that he's coming back for Black Panther 3. And then also, if you were to, I'm not going to go down to that post, I want to leave it on this one. One of the scoopers also had tweeted out, and this was the Rejected Scoopers. They had tweeted out, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 days ago, because they had reached their 3,000th subscriber, and at their 3,000th subscriber, they were going to give major scoops. And some of the scoops they gave, it was a lot of stuff, but one of them things was that Black Panther 3 would be taking place after Secret Wars. Marvel is going ahead with Black Panther 3 after Secret Wars. And again, this is something I have previously discussed when it came to Black Panther, when it comes to T'Challa, when it comes to him being in the MCU. I don't know if it's starting to click now. I don't know if people, and again, grain of salt, take it with a grain of salt. This could be very untrue. This could be, just clickbait. My time to I don't know. Her track record, though, she's had misses, but she's had some major hits as well when it comes to her scoop. So I don't know if it's clicking now, if people are starting to realize that T'Challa really is not coming back in the MCU. And again, this is not me going against the hashtag. This is not me going against the crowd, because I still stand tall with that crowd. I still use that hashtag. I still support the recasting of T'Challa as a whole. But I'm also, as I said in that last video, I'm a realist. I'm looking at things as they are, and I'm looking at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm looking at Ryan Coogler being attached to Black Panther 3. So again, I pose the question to you: if Ryan Coogler is directing, and I'm sure he is, Black Panther 3, why would he? The question I posed to you last week was, why would Marvel? But now the question is, why would the director, Ryan Coogler, undo everything he did in the second film, in the third film? That we're sitting here talking about plot holes and shit not making sense and blah, blah. Now, I could see where it would make sense. I know where it would make sense. Yeah, he was a Skrull. And maybe you find that out in the second one. The same way you found out that Rhodey was a Skrull in Secret Invasion. It's possible. That is a story going on within the MCU right now. But the story that they told in the second one was, no, your king died. Here's his bastard. That's where you move forward. The film that you were originally going to get, where it was going to be the two of them and T'Challa was going to be with his son, that's not happening. And again, I'll give you a little hope, I guess. Sure, why not? It is the multiversal saga. If let's play around and say, like I said in the last video, maybe he is a variant that shows up. Maybe T'Challa is a variant that does show up in the MCU. Throughout Secret Wars or from Secret Wars or something like that. And if the rumor is to believe that there are going to be several pieces of different worlds put together to make whatever this new sacred timeline universe is going to be moving forward, maybe a T'Challa from that universe stays, and maybe he goes to Wakanda because they're missing a king and he becomes king. But then again, that story, sure, writing, creativity, it's the MCU, it's fiction, you can make it work, sure, okay, you can. Then what about the kid? I mean, but then what is this? What is this? Does this kid then go and grow up with a father that he has no real relation to? And is that, I mean, what is that story? Is that a story that you would really want? This confused, is that, again, I think that still plays on the black, that plays on our culture, that plays on the some of the stories that we have within our community. When you do that, still you're having this person that's not this boy's father come in and play dad, and this confusion with all like, who's your baby daddy, who's the dad, like that, and it's supposed to be this regal place. Wakanda's supposed to be this place of. For me, it doesn't work. For me personally, they have, and I'm gonna get to the X-Men stuff in just a second. But for me, it doesn't. There's no way to backpedal out of the BP franchise unless you seriously put the T'Challa back on his throne. So him doing Black Panther 3 does not surprise me. But what does surprise me is when Marvel comes in here and says, and again, rumor, grain of salt, that they're looking at Coogler for the X-Men. I asked it earlier, and I'm asking it again. I don't know what Bo did, because the fact that you're looking at Coogler, and this is just to direct, not to write or anything like that. This is to direct. But the fact that you're looking at Coogler over like a Bo DeMayo or someone like that, and yes, I know that he's the writer, not the director.
Anyone newer who could show they give a fuck about.
But it does make sense though for them to pick Coogler, because as I've said before, Coogler's their token. He's their token. He's that token black guy that we can go to, that we as Marvel, we as a studio can say, we've got this nigga here in our pocket. So anytime that there's some nigga shit to make these niggas be quiet, we're going to take him out, put him at the front and say, here niggas, tap dance.
I was about to say, take that nigga out, tell him put his shoes on.
Walk
his ass out there and dance.
That's what it is. And for me, it doesn't, again... I think what makes X-Men so great is Bo said this when he was, answering some people. He said, go too far pushing your vision. The characters cease to be themselves. Oh, my God. Is that shocking to anybody? Is that news? Then he goes on to say, don't go far enough. You're just playing karaoke with the comics. I don't know what this nigga did. God, I don't know what he did, but that is the standard for me. Like,
it's like you can tell some of his dialogue in 96.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he has some good-ass fucking public speaking.
Yes.
Like, he knows how to speak. Like, you can tell. And I don't want to cut you off. I don't know if you're done or anything, so go ahead if you still had more shit to say.
Well, no, you're fine. I'm summing it up here. I just, again, when you have people like this that are, when he says go too far pushing your vision, then the character ceases to be themselves. Well, we saw Coogler's vision, did we not? The character not only ceased to be himself, he ceased to exist. So we saw Coogler's vision. I don't want to see a Coogler vision for the X-Men. The most diverse group in Marvel, and you want to put a nigga that can't even handle his own culture stories correctly? You want to put him on the most diverse group in Marvel? That doesn't work for me. And the reason it doesn't work is because I've watched Coogler's work. I'm not saying he's a bad director. I don't think he's I think he's a good director. I think Coogler is innovative. I think some things he comes up with is great, but I think that he hinders himself with some of the stories, this black trauma that he's obsessed with, this black death he's obsessed with. It was not necessary, despite what you may think of the film, to kill the Queen Mother in Wakanda Forever. You already killed the king, but then you thought, let's double down on that shit. Let's kill his mama too. And hell, if I could kill his sister and the whole continent, I'd do that shit too. But no, we took a different direction. I saw some people saying, well, he's already got some experience with mutants. If you thought what he did with Namor was great, God bless you and kudos. That's fantastic. I'm glad you had fun. I don't think that him doing what he did with Namor then gives him the resume to go and tackle the mutants. That no, because you got, and I said this earlier, and I'm done. I have other things I want to say, but I'm going to say them after Q gives his spill too. I don't want to go. But I could, yeah, sure. Let's put him on the X-Men, and yeah, the black mutants like Frenzy and Maggot and Darwin and all the others. Sure, we'd see him briefly.
See him struggle.
Yeah, we'd see him struggle. It'd be some type of brief struggle before death. There would be some type of something on screen where it'd be like, oh, that's their motivation. Oh my God, there it is, right there.
The first time ever, there's Black Genosha.
There they are. You're going to see the black mutants, but those black mutants that you're going to see in that film is going to motivate the main mutants to accomplish whatever they fucking have, whatever they're trying to accomplish in the film. So their deaths will then motivate them because that's the formula.
Oh God, there's Black Genosha, Charles. You gotta save this shit.
That's Coogler's formula. So I'm not for this. I'm not him being black on the Black Panther 3 again. Fine. What the fuck ever. As I already told you, I'm done with that franchise within the MCU anyway. So he can have that. You take your fucked up, morbid, tainted franchise with that bastard kid and make whatever fucking go-lucky goddamn movie and not Wakanda you want to make. Sure. Whatever. But the X-Men, keep this nigga away from them. He's already tainted enough. But I have more. But go ahead.
When I told you the first time I was reading this on the way over here earlier to watch 97, and I was, you know that meme where that nigga's like, brother, I do not want that shit, bro. Like, I don't think anyone expected anyone else to direct Black Panther 3 because, like I said, Taika came back. I mean, like you said, he's got to finish this trope story. But, man, when it speaks to Black Panther 3, every time I think about it more and more, I can't help but think how much Boseman really might have fucking meant to Marvel. Because, man, Black Panther 1 wouldn't have made $1 billion if I personally think, if any other black actor was in that costume. I think the way Boseman changed things around set from the stuff we've heard about the British accents and the people who were going to be there and how Wakanda was going to look, I think the way he changed the history of what we saw in Black Panther 1, and I think them niggas really fucking, like, put him on that pedestal of, like, Chadwick Boseman / Black Panther. Like, they don't see the 42s. They don't see the other movies he's acted in or anything. Like, and I don't know why, because beautiful actor, like so many fucking great movies and shows. And so man, Chadwick might have meant so much to them, but that just catapults me into my next topic of, I don't even know why Ryan would want to fucking work on anything Black Panther. Like, me, if someone I loved that much died this way and then I put it into a story and then years later after Secret Wars is when? 2026 or whenever I don't think it's going to come out next year, genuinely. No. So I'm thinking 2020. We talked about it, 2026, 2027, late 26, early 27. So I don't know why so many years later you want to keep being brought into this story that you just have to think about something that meant so much to you that I'd understand if you could get over it. But I genuinely don't think he can get over it. I don't think he's gotten over it. I think anytime he's going to be brought back into this, it's going to be another, like you said. I mean, even going back to his last project, which I think is Creed. I don't know if he's came out with anything since Creed or...
No, the next thing is that vampire film.
Fucking Creed was Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan black story. Nigga gets locked up when they were kids, and then the whole story, him fighting from jet. It's just another black story. And so, I don't know. I mean, like you said, I hate to say it. Y'all can go back and watch any stream. I've said it. I don't have any hope. I mean, I love what we got in fucking Civil War. I love Black Panther 1. The last Black Panther was shit. I mean, that's just at the end of the day, or fucking repeating the record and everything like that. But I don't want to talk too much about because we talk about Black Panther all year, and so we honestly expected this. We're gonna get more news on Black Panther 3, but the X-Men thing, when I saw that, holy shit! I almost threw up. I gagged. I was like, bro, please, for the love of God, do not. After what I've watched with 97, do not put this nigga at the helm of the X-Men, simply because this was the first thing I said to you, bro. That Storm storyline killed, bro. Storm is not going to be shit if he is directing the X-Men. And I know that because what he's done to T'Challa, with all the T'Challa and Storm storyline connecting, and he's wanting to tell this story, or I don't know if he wants to tell it, but catapult this T'Challa, his son, into it. He's not thinking about this Storm T'Challa story. He's not thinking about Storm. He's thinking about everything with Black Panther. And so I don't get how you could have him coming off this trope of a storyline, writing so much, and then put him at the helm of something that means I said I was gonna post it on Instagram. I held back because I didn't even want to say it. But if you put him at the helm of X-Men, the MCU's over. I genuinely believe the X-Men will. I think
it'll make or break.
That's what I was gonna say. The X-Men, Fantastic Four, everything we've got with Fantastic Four has been good news. If you don't like what you've seen about the Fantastic Four, it's kind of opinion. Nothing about it has been horrible that we've seen. You know, like when we see something like this is a collective consensus of no. Like,
oh no,
we don't want this. Like, I haven't seen a comment that's been like, oh yes. Fucking Ryan Coogler's about to direct X-Men, nigga, let's fucking go. Like, I was looking on Twitter. Didn't see a single comment that was like, I'm kind of excited for this. You could see that with the Sam Raimi after coming off Multiverse of Madness. Some of them are like, no. Some of them are like, yes. Do we want him in 3? But based off what Coogler's just told, let him have... I mean, do we want him telling Black Panther? No. Genuinely, I don't think any of us do. But do we want him telling the X-Men stories? Fuck no, bro. Like,
yeah, no,
I just couldn't. I couldn't see him being able to handle what we talk about in '97. So many relationships and tones and personalities between different characters, and the way Cyclops acts with fucking Professor versus. There's so many way the same character acts and I don't think he'd be able to handle the mutant race and what the mutant race does with the human race against their own race. I don't think he'd be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And I was gonna post and say, if he's directing X-Men, I give up. Like,
yeah,
we keep talking about this new future, hope this, hope that. I don't want whatever he's gonna put on screen about the X-Men. Genuinely. I'm sorry to be the nigga that's like, man, at least give him a chance. No, I don't want that nigga to have a chance with the X-Men. That's like, no, bro.
Yeah, no, Coogler's not that guy. And I've said this many times. I've said that line many times on other topics. Coogler's not that guy. He's not that guy for this. Does he even know? What does he know about the X-Men? Because, with the changes made in the Black Panther, it was kind of obvious he didn't know much about that going into that franchise.
I was gonna say, let's start off with Black Panther 1. Is any of that even? It made $1 billion. That's why I didn't want to hate on it, because it made $1 billion. It's good.
There's a lot. That's
is there anything in that movie that's really comic accurate in the sense of plot and storytelling? Because they had to change everything up with the second one because of his death. But where he was originally going, like. M'Baku is villain, fucking Killmonger fighting it. It started off as a fucking black trope story.
Yeah, the first one is. I mean, like I said, Coogler's just not that guy. He is not that guy to do the Black Panther franchise or X-Men. Like at all. He's not that guy. And to take it back to what you said there about the whole, still grieving thing. That is true too. With him still grieving.
And that's real too. I don't want to hate on him. That's some real shit. Like.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. And I've said this many times. In my opinion, grief doesn't have an expiration date. You can't put an expiration date on someone's grief. So him grieving, that is his business. That's not for me to sit and dissect or say it's fake or whatever. So him still grieving, that's again his business. But if you are still grieving, like I said with For Never, if you were grieving at that time and you couldn't see yourself, because I think one of the quotes he said during that time was, they can't see anybody else as T'Challa because of how close they were with Chad. Well, then you need to exit from the project. And I say that same thing for 3. If you are still grieving around this time, and again, you have the right to, then you don't need to attach yourself to this, because all those old feelings, and I've said this before too. I've said, and again, I don't give a fuck if you agree with me or not, Coogler needs to go. The entire cast needs to go because of their connection to Chad. So I don't think any of them should have any parts of Black Panther 3. I think the whole franchise, with your soft reboot, if that's real, needs to be rebooted. Let Wakanda and the whatever in our universe go, because you've ruined this, and I would hate for that to happen to the X-Men.
I said the MCU we know, if Coogler gets the X-Men, the words I typed were I would like completely ruined, tarnished, shitted on. I was like, if I can think of any other words, I'll let y'all know. But man, it's just, and I think that goes to speaking anything in real life too. If you're doing everything based off of emotions and like you're kind of in a place of trauma after something happened in your life and everything, and you're just not in the best of emotions, and then start basing shit off emotions and shit, that's what we get. And so I know we're not in comments right now, but Cornelia said, I think we overlooked the issues in BP1 because we were excited and because we assumed it would get better. Yet it got worse. And so I completely agree. And it even makes me think, even let's say Chad wouldn't have passed, how would BP2 have been better in terms of plot, storyline? It's like, let's just putting T'Challa's death aside and everything, or Boseman's death aside, like, has Coogler been directing a good plot with this franchise?
No. The difference is with that second one, he had, like on the first one, he had Chad there writing, from what we know from all those days, that Chad had read the final script, but was also, they were things that he wanted to change from, so it really would have just depended on Chad and what he wanted moving forward with this franchise, I guess, juxtaposed to what Coogler wanted to move forward with this franchise. But now that, that's all gone and we're just stuck with whatever the future is, as I've said before, I don't care. I really don't. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover all the news, but will I be seated down watching? No, I won't be watching Black Panther 3 at all. The Eyes of Wakanda series, I won't be. That's not something I'll be covering.
I don't think petitions work, but I would wholeheartedly endorse one if this nigga got signed to direct the X-Men, bro. We could not let that shit happen, bro. Like, I'm not even trying to hate on a nigga. Like, I'm a hating ass nigga. I'll tell you when I'm trying to hate on someone and when I don't. This isn't a dislike for Coogler at all. As much as I'm sitting here and it kind of sounds like I'm speaking down on him, and I genuinely don't like what he's done with this franchise. I think we could have seen a lot better in terms of the first movie made $1 billion, so that just speaks to how excited, not even just the black community, us as a community, were to see it, but kind of the whole world. It was something new. You could go ask white people, and that's kind of the first time they'd ever seen a black king character on screen helming his own throne. It's the main subject of his movie, and everything around it centered around black culture and stuff like that. And so just imagining what we could have gotten if fucking Nate Moore wasn't attached to anything, saying they hire people who don't read about comics. And imagine if everyone was like Boseman in terms of going back and reading some of the comics and studying their characters. And I don't know, man. It's just, we could have got so much more with this franchise. And I just want to say, I don't dislike Coogler. I don't hate. This isn't me personally. I feel bad every time we talk about this because it sucks to like attack him because he's the head of this and everything. But I don't dislike him or anything, but man, I really just don't enjoy what he's done with this franchise. So I would have to co-sign the fact that I'm not interested in anything Black Panther 3. I'm not interested in anything Ryan Coogler Marvel. Hell, I may go watch the little vampire movie he got. I don't know. I may watch it at home. I may go watch it if I'm bored. But anything Marvel he's attached to, I'm even kind of hard Nate Moore being attached to Captain America 4 to have hope for that. So anything them two are attached to, I don't know. I've kind of, even some of, like you said, some of the actors connected with Chad shouldn't, like, even knowing Letitia's Black Panther, everything that went on with her, she wanted to quit. And just knowing people aren't fully endorsed or, like, invested into their roles, I don't know how that makes me feel.
Yeah. No, I said I could give a shit about this franchise. But this is what people had to say from Fandom Wire, what they said. about some of the mixed reactions, I guess, that were on Twitter for the announcement. They said fans have been patiently waiting for the entry of the X-Men ever since Robert Downey Jr. first put on the Iron Man suit, while the Avengers have become more widely known through the MCU in a time before the superhero world was dominated by mutants and Charles Xavier's team was right in the middle of it. Fans have been waiting for a formal entry of the characters in the main franchise for 16 years. While the characters are making their way into the universe bit by bit, the X-Men film, which is inevitable, will carve their presence in stone. It was recently reported by My Time to Shine Hello on Twitter that Marvel Studios already has their eye on one director to head this important project. It would seem that on top of being signed for the Black Panther 3, Marvel apparently wants Ryan Coogler to also head the mutant film. Not only could this news confirm that the movie is already being worked on, but it could also imply that one of the best directors in the franchise's history, Lord, that's the thing too.
Oh my goodness, bro! I was about to say, you reading this kind of pisses me off.
It's kind of like, I'm looking at this as a basketball fan too. It's kind of like when people call Steve Kerr one of the greatest coaches of all time. No, Steve Kerr is not one of the greatest coaches of all time. And for my non-basketball fans that don't know who Steve Kerr is, Steve Kerr coaches the Golden State Warriors. Golden State, as you all know, had their
Bob Myers
run.
Built one of the best dynasties. That
Bob
NBA's
Myers built one of the best dynasties that the NBA ever saw. It was, Clay, if you know, Clay, Steph, everybody over there, KD, Dre. So when people say, "Oh my God," Steve Kerr is such a talented coach. He's one of the great. No, he's not. He had some of the most talented niggas. Yeah, he was just there. So when you say that he's one of the most talented directors within the franchise, because he
First movie he was there.
Yeah,
that's why I made a bill
because he made that 1.3 billion. Exactly,
we saw what he did.
That's it. It's not that he was one of the greatest directors.
Even saying that pisses me off. Saying like two movies and he's only done those two, right? He hasn't.
No, he's only done
the greatest,
those two.
Like $1 billion movie, bro. Like, and then you're saying he's the greatest.
But see, that's why they're saying that, because he gave Marvel their first billion. But it wasn't. But what people fail to realize is it wasn't Coogler. The character of T'Challa gave Marvel their first billion. Yes, there were supporting characters, and you can listen to Chad talk about this himself. Yes, there are supporting characters, but at the end of the day, he is the lead. That's what people were there for. When the lead was absent, you didn't get that 1.3 billion. So to call him one of the best directors in the franchise's history, we are reaching again. Then he goes on to say, considering just how big the news is, it is not surprising that fans are having mixed reactions. Fans are skeptical about the rumor. Since the rumor started to make its rounds around the internet, fans have had a variety of reactions. Many were more than thrilled and excited that Ryan Coogler could potentially be heading one of the most anticipated films in the history of the MCU. They wondered about the possibilities and the directions that it could be taken, specifically thinking about Storm's character. Of course you're thinking about Storm's character because you watched him murder the fucking one of the other prominent black characters in the MCU.
Y'all, he's
of course
thinking about killing this bitch, bro. I'm telling you. As soon as I read this shit, I felt so bad for whoever gets casted as Storm. I felt bad as us as a community that cares about Storm, because if this shit is true, I just want to be the one to say it now so I can go back if all this happens and say I told you so.
Oh yeah, it's true.
We're gonna hate Storm.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be. That's
and
exactly
it sucks to say. Well, we're not gonna hate Storm. We're gonna hate what they're doing with Storm. Let me say that, because I hate to say that we're gonna hate any actor they cast or anything, but
right.
Holy shit! None of this sounds good at all.
No. He goes on to say they were very sure that the director would do an excellent job with her. Oh, Jesus Christ. They were very sure that the director would do an excellent job with her. Well, yeah, sure. Okay, he murdered her husband, so let's go on ahead and are we killing the family off one by one? How are we doing this? Like, did she know T'Challa previously? Yeah, so I'm confused. Okay. I want to know where the train of thought comes from thinking that he would do an excellent job with her.
Thank you,
what
Cornelia,
makes
because
you
she's
think
black. That's
gosh.
why white people that's related to this black
Again,
character.
tap dance, nigga.
Cornelius, yes, that is exactly why they
every
think
time
that.
every time there's a black issue or
Yes.
something like that, you got to bring out Nate. Or if it's a black film with black characters, you got to bring out Ryan.
Yep.
That's it. Those are your tokens. That's it. These are the reactions from people.
Darius said he even looks sad.
Yeah, he looks depressed in this picture. He looks like, I'm about to fuck this shit up. In this picture, he looks like he's telling you in this picture, what I'm about to do to Storm is going to trump what I did to T'Challa. I'm telling you.
That nigga like, man, these niggas have no idea.
I'm telling you. It
These
just...
niggas have no idea the catastrophes that take place in my mind.
This person said, Storm fan 40. If Coogler makes Storm anything like Angela Bassett's Queen Ramonda, then I'll be satisfied with whatever direction they take with the X-Men. And I just want them to get Storm right.
Wasn't Coogler.
Yeah, that was just purely Angela Bassett. So yeah, that's the pure, literal goddess that Angela is.
That's top 5
Top
woman actor.
Yeah, she's fucking Ryan Kumar said, people undermine how truly gifted he is. World building. He made Wakanda look more impressive than the world in Star Wars, bro. Okay, I don't know why the fucking pod track went off, but whatever.
Said Disney.
Yeah, Disney definitely muted that shit. But as I was saying,
Nigga want to make sure he back.
I'm trying to remember where I was. Oh yes, I've seen phenomenal thing. I saw phenomenal things in Star Wars, but when I saw the world of Wakanda for the first time on the big screen, that was amazing. It was something that was crazy. But to say that was, again, building this world, how hard is that? He just took the panel and boom.
Yeah.
I mean,
let
me put it this way.
Go ahead.
Well, when you say he made it look more immersive in the world of Star Wars, that was world building. Star Wars is world building. George took a concept that was never thought of and built an entire fucking galaxy, multiple galaxies out of that. This is what Ryan did. That's not the same. I don't know that I would have used that comparison.
And looks also nothing to do with storyline and plot. Because I just want to say, just based off this comment, what we saw in the Batman, I think we both sat there and said this is one of the best comic booky looking movies. But I don't think you rewatched it and said it was boring. It's long. It's boring. The looks of a movie truly have nothing to do with how timeless it is or how good it is or the rewatchability. I think Multiverse of Madness has some beautiful scenes, but I've not revisited it or anything. So I don't know. I just think that looking at fucking scenery, we're in 2024, bro. If you can't put a fucking good movie that looks good on cinema, that's nothing to do with directors. That's VFX and fucking that's nothing to do with Coogler, honestly, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it.
That's what I said. I don't know why that wasn't a good comparison. This person said, it'd be okay, but not my first choice. Someone said, man, bring back the Russo brothers. I second that. Just bring back the fucking Russos.
From what I saw, do they want to come back?
I don't know what they want to do.
I'm going to say, it looks like they're just chilling. happy they did Endgame.
Then it sums it up just saying, some were worried about the director leaving the film and it also being doomed. Others thought that the other directors were more qualified for the job. The Russo brothers are two directors Marvel fans always turn to in their time of need, and this was no different. Regardless, it is safe to assume that Marvel is not fooling around anymore and is making very calculated decisions. Okay, I don't know about that one, but again, just know. He doesn't need to be a part of this film or any type of films with Marvel, as I've said before.
And there's been so many comments, so I'm telling y'all now, I doubt we can get to all of them. But I've been reading them as we've been going along, and I love to see the all of y'all are completely in agreement. Like, if any of y'all do think Ryan should be at the helm of anything, I'd love to hear why or anything, because I love to hear other sides art, but I just don't see anyone. I mean, even like Twitter comments, none of them really provided solid reasons, but I couldn't think of a good reason as to why anyone at Marvel would think put him at the helm of it. I get Black Panther. You know, he's got to finish that sad little story. I would hate if he's doing anything after a trilogy, but you know, it's his story. He probably is. Like we've talked about, he's their little token. So it's easy to keep him around, honestly. I mean, and so, I don't know. It's just, I don't know how anyone could look at him and be like, let's put him at the helm of one of the most, not even one of the most important project of our cinema careers. Like, there's nothing. Fantastic Four, yeah, debatable, but X-Men, the mutants as a whole, as a race, there's so many critical storytelling points in that I just, man, I said it over and over, but I'm genuinely not comfortable with Coogler being the helm of that. So
no, yeah.
You know, I'm not a praying man, but I might send a few prayers that Coogler doesn't get that job. Like I said, not to hate on a nigga. I know we talk a lot about lifting each other up, and I'd love to lift him up outside of the MCU, but comic book wise, keep those little black stories in Creed movies and shit, bro. Like, I don't want that shit in what I want in superhero movies and shit like that. Like, niggas supposed to be saving the world. Instead, we watching funerals.
Yeah, that's really the conversation.
Not one. Shit, like you said, I completely forgot about this movie, and so I forgot the fact that Ramonda's dead. Like, I fucking... Sure, he got stabbed at the end by Namor, in my opinion, should have died. Like, got fucking stabbed into a rock, and so, just because they wanted... So I don't even know, bro. I'm not... Like you've said, you're not too invested in it. I'm not really too invested in it. I mean... I think the main point just sucks that we've got to potentially look into him being at the point of X-Men. That's not who I wanted the first name to drop to be.
No. Yeah, I don't...
I mean, I guess if there is a question, do you have anyone that you'd like to direct X-Men, or just...
I don't. I mean, outside the Russos, I don't have anybody that I would just really pin on them right now.
I just think something so dense like the X-Men takes so many people. I think that's hard to pin something on. Even if you are the director, kind of how Bo and he has his team, you know, like, this is going to take a whole team to do. Like, there's such a dense...
If you ask me who I don't know who I don't know who I'd pin to direct it. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that, or when I say I don't know what Bo did, but bring him back, I say that with the hesitation also of I don't know what he did. I don't know what this man did. So if it's something atrocious, okay, cool, then he doesn't need to come back. If it's something as minor as the rumor that we heard he's just difficult to work with, well, you should get over that difficulty. And the reason I say that is because I personally, just of what I've seen from 97, I want Bo writing on the film. I want him and whatever team he's got to be the team that just gets pushed over to the film. And whoever you have directing it under, above him, cool. But he needs to be the writer for the film.
I wish he could just be the head of X-Men.
Yeah, like, and then maybe whoever you've had directing some of these episodes, maybe bring some of those directors together, or I don't know, but you don't. That article said 16 years, and it has been 16 years in the making of Waiting for the X-Men. You don't want to squander this 16 years. You don't want to have, the first film come out and it's like, damn, we waited 16 years for that.
Man, I mean, at the point it comes out, it's what, 17, 18 years? 20, maybe? We'll get in the next two, probably.
They're trying to fast track that film.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
Yeah.
2-3 years probably.
And with the rumor that the film is...
Is that one of the ones that's before Secret Wars?
It's supposed to be before Secret Wars.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they did fast track it to before.
Yeah, it's before Secret Wars, and it's going to be the different universe. The universe that Monica's in currently. So I don't know how they bring it all together. I guess just like the Fantastic Four universe probably gets destroyed, Incursion or something like that. I guess that's also where the rumors of the Avengers versus X-Men are coming in.
Man, thank you, Gret. He fucked up $1 billion character, and they want to give him X-Men.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, great point.
So it's crazy. But that's the latest on some of the Black Panther and Ryan news as far as X-Men go. But anytime we talk about Ryan, it's always going to take us back to that Black Panther conversation. I think it really just sums it up with what Gray just said, and I really think that kind of sums it all up. Just, you fucked up $1 billion character, and now you're about to trust him with the X-Men, or you're trying to trust him with the X-Men. So I completely agree. It doesn't bode well for the future of the X-Men if this man is attached. As far as the Black Panther franchise goes, as I've said, that's DOA. That's dead on arrival. That film's... It's dead. I don't care what anybody says. And, as we get closer to those days, if, the conversation comes, the conversations are going to roll around. People are going to say, oh, no, you guys are just hating because, you're in your feelings or whatever. I have pinned certain conversations on Twitter that I'm going to revisit in the future because I want to revisit those people and say, what were we talking about?
Oh, I love being right.
Yeah. So,
I love being right.
So